Hi, welcome to True Creeps, where the stories are true and the creeps are real. We'll cover stories from grotesque gore to the possibly plausible paranormal, to horrifying history, to tense and terrible true crime, and everything else that goes bump in the night. We're your hosts, Amanda, and I'm Lindsay, and we want you to join us while we creep. We cover mature topics. Listener discretion is advised. Hey everybody! Today is a recap episode where we're going to cover the underlying facts surrounding the cases against Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. What we have in this episode will be 2022 and earlier. We'll be releasing an episode within seconds after this that has our updates from 2023. Also, if this is your first time listening, welcome. So as Amanda mentioned, we have been covering this case for some time, and we're going to talk about some of the central events. There are so many little details that I think are really relevant when you're trying to understand the case. So if you feel like you need a bigger primer than where we're at right now, just keep scrolling down until you see Sinister Love. That's our original Vallow episode. We cover everything. There's a lot. And we also, if you go to our website, we have a timeline. We also have a glossary of people who are involved in the case because there are so many people involved. And that primer includes everyone from family members to law enforcement to whose attorneys are who. So let's start. In the fall of 2019, Larry and Kay Woodcock started to get really worried when they couldn't get in touch with their grandson, JJ Vallow. And he had been in the custody of his adopted mother, Lori Vallow. Now, earlier that same year, Lori's husband and JJ's adopted father, who was Kay's brother, so follow that around. Kay's brother was JJ's adopted father, but also Lori's husband. He was shot and killed by Alex Cox. Now, Alex Cox was Lori's brother. And originally, it was deemed self-defense, but later, it would end up being reclassified as a homicide and charges would be filed for conspiracy to commit murder.
And then after months of not being able to get in touch with JJ, Kay and Larry are able to get Rexburg Police, which is in Idaho, to go and do a welfare check. But they were unable to locate JJ as well as his sister, Tylee. And during this time, the wife of Chad Daybell, her name was Tammy Daybell, she unexpectedly dies. Weeks later, Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell go to Hawaii and, they casually just get married.
Yikes.
Yeah. In December of 2019, Tammy's body is exhumed. They did not do an autopsy the first time, and they decided one's finally needed. So the next day, right after she's exhumed, Alex Cox unexpectedly dies in Arizona. Now, let's come back to Hawaii. So while in Hawaii, Lori is ordered to produce the children, so JJ and Tylee, in early 2020. Lori clearly does not produce the children, and she is then arrested for obstruction charges. In June of 2020, Chad Daybell's property is searched, and the remains of both Tylee and JJ are found. Tylee had been mutilated and burned, and JJ had been wrapped in duct tape and trash bags. Horrific.
Yeah.
I still get really sad talking about their bodies.
It's terrible no matter what, but when you think about the fact that they were children,
disgusting. So Chad was then arrested, and both Chad and Lori were charged with destruction of evidence. In 2021, Tammy's autopsy is completed. Then Chad and Lori are both charged with conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, as well as murder charges. Later in 2021, Lori is charged with conspiracy to commit first-degree murder in relation to Charles's death. Lori was deemed to be not mentally competent to stand trial in 2021, so the cases against Lori and Chad were stalled. In 2021, Chad waived his right to a speedy trial, but Lori has not waived that right. And per her counsel, James Archibald, she does not intend to, which we find a little strange.
Okay, so now let's move into some of the things that happened in 2022.
Lori was deemed fit to stand trial, so there was some forward momentum, finally.
After some data dumps from other jurisdictions, we saw bizarre texts between Alex, Chad, Lori, and Alex's wife, Zulema. It had code names, discussions of how happy Chad was after Tammy's death. We talked about Zulema's abilities to bring on storms.
It's a good one.
That was an interesting one. And what we've been covering largely for the past couple years has been the procedural details leading up to the trial, and every once in a while we'd have some facts. So we have many episodes with lots of very granular updates. If you check out our show notes of this or any of our Vallow episodes, you'll see that we have a playlist, so if you want to see all of them. We also learned that Lori gifted Kobe, her son, a car after JJ and Tylee had gone missing, and Kobe then turned that car over to law enforcement, and they found evidence inside of it. We also found out that Alex's car had been searched and they found snap caps for Remington trading bullets and blood.
Also, from that data dump from Arizona, we learned about a very uncomfortable massage Alex gave Zulema, where he insisted that she lay on a plastic sheet.
Yikes. Yikes.
Yikes. So, like Lindsay said before, we've covered the Vallow Daybell case many times, and things have changed in a day sometimes. So, there's several episodes. If you're wanting to follow along with us, there is a portion of our website that we've dedicated specifically to this case, where you'll be able to see all of the names of the people, which there's a ton of them.
Over 100.
Over 100. Yeah, that's wild to me. And then also a timeline of the events that have transpired so far. And one of the trials starts in April, so we're getting ready for it.
Yeah, and we'll also have updates on our social media. So this is being released right before we release another episode of 2023 updates, like literally within seconds. So have a great few minutes.
We'll see you in a minute. Thanks for creeping with us.
Thanks for listening. And as always, a special thank you to our patrons who support us via Patreon.
Please see the link in our show notes to learn more about how you, yes you, can begin to haunt the dump, guard vortexes, or even become a scorching Sasquatch.
Ooh. Also in our show notes, you can find the link to our website, more information on our sources, our social media handles, and our merch store.
We'd love for you to keep creeping with us. So if you like this episode, please subscribe, rate, review, and share the show with your fellow creeps and or ghosts.
I beg of you.